Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Pat Jones Show. I'm Robbie Robertson, along with Oklahoma State head coach Pat Jones. The Cowboys closed out their 92 season this past Saturday, losing at Kansas State 10-0. It was a ball game. The Cowboy defense played well enough to win, but Pat, the offense struggled against bad weather and a pretty good ball-hawking Kansas State defense.
Well, I think that's exactly right. We kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm offensively early on, and then every time we'd have a miscue or a turnover in there. Kansas State, we knew going in, had a pretty good defensive football team. You got to give them credit in a lot of regards. Again, the turnover part of it really makes it hard. Defensively, I think this might have been our best performance under adverse circumstances. Again, we turned it over and gave them a chance down on our end of the field, and our defense really did basically everything you need to do. I think in the second half, Robbie, they only had like 2 first downs or something. We get down in there and just sputter around enough. Again, an erratic day offensively and a very good day for us with our defensive unit.
All right, let's get into the first half highlights. It was a windy day in Manhattan, Kansas. Temperature of 36, and with that wind, it was a wind chill of about 13 degrees. The Cowboys won the toss. Kansas State wanted the wind at their back, so you go on offense, Coach.
Well, again, they put the wind at their backs. We go on here, and you can see we're doing a few things, just kind of grinding it out down in here with the fullback and tailback. Again, the wind was a pretty good factor. It did not. Here's John White breaking this on a nice run. The wind was a factor. There really wasn't anything falling rain or snow-wise, although the field was a little bit slick and clammy and whatnot, but it was the same for both teams. They obviously handled it a little bit better than we did. Good job, John White. Here's where I thought, this is the first down play right here. Again, first possession, Gary came back and threw it right in behind Denson. We were trying to grease it in a zone here a little bit and didn't. Okay, they come back in here, and Smargesso, the quarterback, does a pretty good job of scrambling. It's probably the best thing that he does is scramble. They're fixing to break a run right here. Keith Burns hit him, and the kid spun off of him. This was about the biggest play yardage-wise that either team had all day. Now we get down in here and stiffen and are going to hold them to a field goal. But again, the turnover got us untracked here. They try to run a sweep and don't get anything out of it. Then again, they broke the one run and get off down in there. And our defensive unit, Keith has a chance to get a hold of him. He's scrambling around, throws it in the dirt. And again, now they're going to run their kicking unit on and hit a field goal that puts us down by 3. So we had moved the ball prior to that turnover. They had gotten it down in there. And defensively, we're playing well, have set a fairly good tone. Cornell, Cannon, and crew here. Again, I can't say enough about the way that we really battle around and play defense. Kansas State, the best thing they did, in my opinion, is protect the football and, again, take advantage when they got down in there. They try to run this reverse and fumble it, get the ball back. We fumble on a reverse later on, which gives them the ball down on our end of the field. But somebody ran up the field. There's Burns right there kind of gumming up things and had it played, knocked the ball out, and Gerald Benton, the receiver, got on it, but it cost them yardage and in field position. We get the ball back, turn around, here's a sweep to Raphael. Footing bothered him. He almost went the distance on one of those later on. Okay, Mark Williams at tailback, not a whole lot there. Here's Gary going back to throw. Again, throws a little middle screen here to Roddy Wortham. We were playing Franks and Wortham at fullback. This is something that we had added this week. Again, Wortham under tough circumstances, I think, as far as learning a new position, did a pretty adequate job of this, and we've got a first down out around midfield. Roger Franks, again, playing with the cast on his hand. He had hurt his ankle again and was in and out of the lineup, but here's the fumble reverse right there. They get it. We probably had a chance to get a play out of it if we could have made the exchange clean. Now they've got it down here and run the play action, hit the tight end. We had a guy get fooled off in there, bit on the play action. Again, this kind of stuff, they have got the wind at their back here. All right, run Gallen up in there, and he doesn't really make much. Woolridge, who I think played one of his better ball games in what has been a very good career.
That was the last play of the first quarter. This is the first play of the second.
All right, here's the fumble Ruski right here. Again, this is something that is, you can't really work on it necessarily. I think they ran it against somebody a couple of years ago, but have really not done it with much regularity. from our sideline, I saw the ball go on the ground and looked like one of our guys saw it and didn't believe it, and then they did a nice job. It was well executed, well conceived. Here's a lead draw to Mark Williams, and again, we act like we're going to rip right back down the field. Again, good job here. I thought the two tailbacks, Williams and John White, had reasonably good days, but good job, Mark, getting up the field. We've got a first down again at midfield. So every time it's kind of acted like we're going to do something. Right here, all right, this was a big play. Nice throw by Porter. Culver caught the ball and is running with it, got it stripped loose. They get the ball, get back down toward our end of the field. All right, coverage sack. We had them covered. They did a nice job of not firing it into coverage. I think they did a much better job of that throughout the course of the day than certainly we did.
We've exchanged punts here now, so we're 2nd and 14 from our 35.
Okay, here's a nice throw and catch from Porter to Denson, and again, Raphael looked like he had a chance to go here. They bottle him up, but we've got it late in the first half out around midfield. Ball was dead right here, but we've got it out around midfield. Really, it seemed like every time we needed to generate one big play, we couldn't do it like that right there. See, Denson came loose, and we underthrew the thing. They have done a good job throughout the course of the season when you throw down the middle of getting interceptions. Okay, here's Gallen again running. All right, well, there was Elmer Williams causing the fumble. Keith Burns recovers it. So our defensive unit responded. We're probably lucky in some regards. We weren't down by more than 10 at the half, but we had our chances, had turned it over, and defensive unit had played well.
This is late in the half. Every opportunity that Kansas State had, the Oklahoma State defense was able to rise to the occasion, and we're at 10-0 at halftime, and really you take away a couple of turnovers, Pat, and it's still really an even ball game.
Oh, it really was pretty much an even ball game throughout. Again, you come back to the turnovers. When we had started to kind of get a little bit of momentum, something would happen in there to throw us a step backwards.
All right. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back with the second half of Oklahoma State and Kansas State. You stay with us. The Pat Jones Show continues right after this. Oklahoma State trails Kansas State 10-0 at halftime. Let's get into the second half. Now, Pat, it was your decision. So what was the thinking here as we started?
Well, much like Kansas State had done, Robbie, to open the ball game, we put the wind at our back, kicked because we were playing good defensively and wanted to put our unit out on the field with them in bad field position or backed up, say that. They hit a couple little outs right in here. They get a penalty that sets them back. So they hit two of them back to back, and that's nothing real dramatic. But again, they do get a penalty somewhere in here. It was a holding call.
Yeah, it was a holding call. Put them back at the 20.
Put them back, and you can see, much like us, they're struggling going into the win. Here they run a draw play and really had nothing doing. Like I say, in the entire second half, I believe, Robbie, they only had 2 first downs. Here, somewhere in here, I think there was a holding call in here, which had already knocked it back. We get the ball out around midfield. Okay, now John White breaks one here. And again, running hard, we're determined, and it looks like we're coming off the ball good here. Run him again, not a lot, but we're getting after it pretty good. I thought really we came off the ball pretty good. Here's Porter on a naked through the ball to Steve Keith. Does a nice job, just short of a first down. We run the full back here. Now, isn't the fourth down try coming up, Robbie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, big play right here. It's 4th and 1. We go for it out around in there. And come up, the backside linebacker makes a nice play. They stop us, which I thought was immensely big play in here. Here you can tell by what K-State's trying to do, I think rightfully so. They're being very, very protective of the football and being very conservative. Again, I think they were doing smart things. Okay, we can come back. I get the ball, go deep right there. Again, the ball hit Raphael. Their kid looked like he kind of got a hand in there and got it ripped out. Very close right here. This was a 4th down play right here. We're going for it on 4th and 3. Again, out around midfield, picked up the first down. All right, run John White again. And we move the pile for about 7 or 8 yards. You can see we're down inside their 30-yard line now. Run a sweep. Good job of John. Good job blocking. And we've got a first down around the 22 or 23-yard line. Okay, now here they got a big push up inside, and one of their jumpers blocked this field goal, which again, if we could have gotten some points out of it down in there, you had a real chance with the wind at your back. And again, I won't say we completely sputtered, but we kept on making a few plays. Here's a draw for a little bit here. All right, Gary's going back to throw. All right, here's one right here. Again, that was a second down play, if I remember right.
Yes, sir.
I think on the downside for Gary, he tried to force the ball a couple times and got a little bit impatient, which is easy for a guy to do when you keep on thinking that it's going to happen. And now, being a competitor, you try to make it happen, but again, kind of let the game come to you a little bit. All right, here they come back, and we've got them covered down the field. There's a flag. Something was called in here, holding or something.
Against K-State. We declined it.
We declined it, which was that was a third down play. I had to force a punt. We've got the ball now again on our end, backed up. This is a nice throw and catch here to Shannon Culver. Down the middle, so it puts us out around midfield. Same thing. Again, frustrating day for Porter, but on the same hand, you can see this. He's still got composure here, and again, nice throw, nice catch. Culver continues to play well, with the exception of getting stripped from the ball early on.
This drive continues in the fourth quarter.
All right, now fourth quarter has started. We break the fullback, Roger Franks, again down inside the 30. We've got something going. We're going into the wind. This is a nice throw and catch. Good job by Mark Cheatwood. Gary Porter down to the 12-yard line. 1st and 10 there. Okay, they've got us covered. There is a clip that's going to occur right there, okay, on an overthrow. That was really a big call. With a 15-yarder there, takes us out of field goal area. Now, again, we're going to throw the ball on third down. Gary gets hung up, and we take a sack. We have to go ahead and punt the ball there. The clip call was, because he called it, was a big play here. You can see they're going back to throw, and he hadn't got anything, so he just eats it. There's Keith Burns and crew. Again, defensively, throughout the entire course of the the afternoon, we had good pressure. You got to credit K-State's people, again, from the standpoint of just being content to kind of take some losses and play a field position ball game. That's really what they're doing. Burns continues to play well. All right, Denson he breaks this one and comes within one guy right there. If we could have held a block way back on the backside, he might have gone the distance. All right, here's Porter coming back out, throwing. Never saw the linebacker. I could see it from an end zone copy. Later on, Barter, the linebacker, I believe that's he or Venables one. Gary never saw him. Okay, and nice interception. Kid made a good catch. They've got the ball off down in here. Boom. Okay, there's who was that right there? Tyler Williams. Game's over with again. K-State did a nice job of things. We could not protect the ball, and again, could really not sustain anything. And you come back, you hate to keep harping on it, but the turnovers just really took us out of any chance to win the ball game. Although, really, up until the last 5 or 6 minutes, we still had a legitimate chance.
What was it like in the locker room after the game?
Well, again, probably, Robbie, the tone that whatever I wanted to set it, basically. But I told the players, and they're obviously disappointed that we did not win the ball game. But on the same hand, I think I would have been remiss as a head coach not to point out the fact that what these seniors have gotten accomplished, what this squad got accomplished. We had talked about it a lot last week, and one ball game does not change the fact that then again we did some things. Again, if we can improve as much throughout the course of the recruiting season from next year to this year like what we did, you got a real chance. I think we've had some real heroics out of some seniors, Woolridge, Henley, Fisher, Carlos Irving, some of those guys. And again, the younger players can certainly see that you're not all that far off. This football team, in certain ways, didn't reach the goals that obviously we set going in, but on the same hand, looking back at it, we came a long way. And I've said this before, you had to be inside the program every day to really realize that to the degree of which I think we as coaches do. And again, players not happy, but I wanted to remind them. I wanted to say, you guys can be proud of some things. We appreciate what you've done. Let's go on now and continue to get better.
All right, we'll talk more about that as the show continues. We'll have the play of the week next. Stay with us. The Pat Jones Show continues right after this.
The play of the week is brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Keith Burns gets in the backfield, touches 2 players, and forces a fumble, Coach.
Well, again, it probably sounds like a broken record, but you cannot say enough things about Burns. I think what this really tells us here, Robbie, look at this kind of stuff. Yeah, he hits both of them and causes a fumble. They get it, but I think what this indicates is really how much impact one player can make on a unit or a football team. This defensive group, and I got to give credit, Bill Miller, our coordinator, Calvin Miller, our defensive end coach, George Walstead, our defensive line coach, and Keith Armstrong, our secondary coach, and Todd Fugate, one of our defensive assistants, have, I think, done really a marvelous job from start to stop with this unit. Again, you throw in a guy like Burns, who is really going to be, I think, next year one of the premier defensive players in the country and one of the better defensive players in the league this year. What one of those guys can do. Then you talk about the fifth-year guys of Elmer Williams, Michael Woolridge, Cornell Cannon, Todd Fisher, Terry Henley, those guys. Again, we lose a substantial number of them, but we have returning, again, a Keith Burns, Scotty Harmon, who had a good year for us, outstanding year at free safety, Gilden, who is up and down other than played pretty well yesterday, and Richie Ainsley, another linebacker who had a good year. We've got a core of those guys if we can start surrounding them with some more of these other guys. But again, start to stop putting up with really a young, a developing, an erratic offensive unit all season long. We had some ball games going back to Tulsa. Our defensive unit just outright won the ball game, running in interceptions and stuff. So I'm really, really proud of those guys. They got a lot of things accomplished this season.
We will talk about the future of Oklahoma State football after we take this final break. Stay with us. The Pat Jones Show continues right after this.
This Cowboy Magic Moment is brought to you by Johnson's of Kingfisher and Chickasha. Freshman Gary Porter started the final 6 games of the year for the '92 Cowboys. Only the third player in Big 8 history to throw for more than 1,000 yards in a freshman season. Porter finished the year with the 13th best single-season mark in OSU history. Sophomore Raphael Denson was moved to the flanker position ahead of the Missouri game and responded with 4 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. One of the most talented players in the Big 8, Denson has also gone over the 1,000-yard mark in career rushing. Junior linebacker Keith Burns returned a block point after attempt 74 yards against Oklahoma. Burns made an immediate impact for Oklahoma State by leading the Cowboys in tackles and becoming one of the most dominant defensive players in the Big 8. Porter, Denson, and Burns, another Cowboy magic moment.
I think those 3 guys, Pat, are just part of the really the excitement that was seen at Lewis Field this year, an undefeated season at home.
Well, Robbie, if somebody couldn't get excited about this particular group, particularly at home, we had 2 ball games outright in the Tulsa game and the OU ball game that literally went down to the final play of the ball game. The victories over Missouri and Iowa State here, again, I won't say just it went right down the final play. We had to recover an onside kick there, but again, excitement, I don't know how it could be any more dramatic. This was an exciting year. This was an exciting group of youngsters to work with, but again, Porter, who's got a lot of improvement to make, like the rest of them, but again, his talents are very, very, very intriguing. Denson, again, like you said, is one of the better players in this league as a runner and a receiver. Again, we just can't wait to get into spring ball and expand some of that stuff with him. And then Burns, who we've talked about continually this show and throughout the season. I think the challenges that Keith has in front of him, Robbie, are that now how can you hold up to the kind of publicity you're going to get, because he is a premier player. He should, again, probably be the outstanding defensive player of the year in the Big 8, if not just simply, he'll have the newcomer of the year award wrapped up, I would think. But he's going to have a lot of publicity. He needs to have a great winter and spring and summer in the weight room to get physically stronger. He made some remarks in the dressing room to our squad after the ball game, again, thanking these seniors, challenging the underclassmen to let's go continue to get better. And again, we had so many near misses this season. Again, I think it tells them what we are capable of doing. These guys, probably as much as in several years, really give us a foundation of things. It doesn't guarantee anything, but we've got most all the offensive unit back. Defensively, again, we do lose some important people. We've got the cornerstone guys, what I would consider back in the thing. So hey, we've got a chance now. Again, if we can add 2 things recruiting-wise, which we will, I think we've regenerated quite a bit of enthusiasm for this year going into next year. So I know myself and all the coaches, again, are going to leave this season you're thinking, we got this doggone thing going the right way. Now let's continue to increase there.
Well, we appreciate your effort. Thank you very much for this year, and we look forward to the 93 season, Pat. You betcha. Our final show of the year. Thank you for being with us. For Pat Jones and Oklahoma State University, I'm Robbie Robertson. Goodbye, everybody.